the NFL wildcard round has just concluded, and to celebrate, I wanted to give out NFL playoff awards to every single team that played in the wild card round, starting off with the best performance award. I'm going to give it to the Los Angeles Rams. Their game is still going on right now while I'm recording this, but there's like 2 minutes left. It's over. And, I remember when they made the decision to take week 18 off. There are a lot of questions about it, right? Because they knew that by taking week 18 off, they were probably going to lose and probably going to have to play either the Vikings, who they ended up playing, or the Lions, and there were a lot of questions and concerns about why they would make that decision. And the reason was to get healthy, because when the Rams have been healthy, they have been one of the best teams in all of football. This young defense has gotten better throughout the entire season. Matthew Stafford is still the best quarterback in the NFC. Okay, there's not a doubt in my mind I would take Matthew Stafford over every single quarterback in that conference. And when you have a quarterback of that level and a head coach as good as Sean McVay, you can beat anybody, even the 14-3 Minnesota Vikings. I mean, this was just a masterclass from the Rams. They come out, they go up 10-0 really, really quickly. The back end of the defense did a really good job keeping Justin Jefferson in check. The front seven generated a ton of pressure, 8 sacks as of right now when I'm recording this. I mean, just super dominant. The offense clicking on all cylinders. Puka Nacua got open. Kyron Williams ran the football really well. The offensive line protected Matthew Stafford from all the weird Brian Flores blitzes. Matthew Stafford dissected those well and found open receivers. I mean, just an all-around incredible game from the Los Angeles Rams. They, to me, were the most impressive performance because, not just because of how well they played, because obviously teams like the Bills and the Ravens played really well, but also the quality of opponent. Like, beating the Vikings is very different than beating the Broncos, who snuck into the playoffs, and the Steelers, who finished the year off losing, 5 games in a row, 6 games in a row. So part of it is the way that they played, but also who they did it against. The next award that we're giving out is the LeAngelo Ball Up-and-Comer Award. Okay, if you haven't heard LeAngelo Ball's new, single, I haven't either, but I've heard it's a banger, so check it out, I guess. This award's going to the Houston Texans. I went from thinking the Houston Texans would probably lose to the Chargers, and if they got by the Chargers, then there's not a chance that they'd have any shot against the Chiefs. But after what they did to Justin Herbert, I'm having to reconsider. After what they did to Josh Allen earlier in the season, I'm having to reconsider. I have major doubts about the Houston Texans offense because of just the lack of firepower. Losing both Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell is a really tough thing to bounce back from. Also, the offensive line hasn't protected C.J. Stroud all year, right? So I'm not picking them to beat the Chiefs because those are two glaring weaknesses on the offensive side of the football. With that being said, this defense is absolutely nasty. Okay, it's probably one of the more underrated units in the NFL. They do a great job of getting pressure on the quarterback. They've got playmakers on the back end, good solid linebackers. It's a very, very good defense, obviously head coached by a guy in D'Amico Ryans who really knows that side of the football. And look, when you're really good defensively and you have a way to generate pressure and get turnovers, Derek Stingley Jr. is one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL now. Like, he's going to shadow, whoever the Chiefs' best receiver is, probably DeAndre Hopkins, which isn't super threatening anymore. So they're going to have a chance in that game just because of how good their defense has been. If C.J. Stroud can find a way to make 4 or 5 plays, they'll have a really good chance to win that game, which I wouldn't have given them a chance before the playoffs started. Just the fact that they went 10-7 and were really not all that inspiring heading into the end of the season, but they're on the come up. Watch out. The next award is the Pittsburgh Steelers Just Happy to Be Here Award. It's named after the Steelers because they've now lost 6 straight playoff games and they've been bounced in the first round of the playoffs their last 4 times that they've been in it. With that being said, this award is going to the Denver Broncos. They had the most dead cap in the history of the NFL this year because of that Russell Wilson contract. The fact that they were able to go out and draft a quarterback and make the playoffs is outstanding. Like, I got into it with some Broncos fans on Twitter. Guys, you guys were never going to beat the Bills. You should really just be happy that you've turned your franchise around this quickly. Teams with that much dead cap space don't make the playoffs. It doesn't happen. It happened because you hit on a quarterback in the draft and because you hired Sean Payton, right? And the defense, coordinated by Vance Joseph this year was amazing, right? You were happy to be there, and that's okay. You've come a long way from where you were at having to deal with Russell Wilson and Nathaniel Hackett just 2 years ago, okay? Just be happy that you made the playoffs. The next award is the UConn Basketball Easiest Win Award. I give that to the Baltimore Ravens. That game wasn't close. They rolled from the jump. Okay, like they had that game in hand before the Steelers even landed in Baltimore. I think everyone knew that game wasn't going to be close, and it wasn't. The Steelers only scored because they generated a couple big plays in the passing game, but that was really it. I mean, the Ravens took it to them. They ran the football whenever they wanted. Lamar Jackson was good and patient in the pocket. TJ Watt, I didn't even hear his name called. Okay, so they dominated that game. The Ravens look awesome right now. The next award I'm giving out is the Tom Brady Best Quarterback Award. That's going to Jaden Daniels. Dude was awesome against the Buccaneers. I mean, he's the whole reason why they won that game. He was. I mean, he was amazing. He didn't make any big detrimental rookie mistakes. He threw for 268 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was also the Commanders' leading rusher with 36 yards. They could not run the football. Yet he was still able to find a way to move his team down the field consistently. They ate up the clock. It was really just an incredible game from him. Like, rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs with no rushing attack usually lose, and the fact that he was still able to find a way to win that game it's incredible, and it speaks to how good of a player he's going to be down the line. The next award I'm giving out is the DeAndre Ayton Dominatin' Award. Ever since DeAndre Ayton gave himself his own nickname, no one talks about him anymore, and rightfully so. If you have to give yourself a nickname, it probably means that you aren't very good. Anyway, this award is going to the Buffalo Bills, the way that they just dominated the Broncos, right? Outscored them 31-0 after that opening Browns drive. They were just clearly better, okay? They established the line of scrimmage. They pushed this really good Broncos defense around. They held the football for 41 minutes, dominated time of possession. Josh Allen was Josh Allen, didn't turn the ball over, ran it when he needed to, threw the ball really well, hit on a couple of big plays in addition to it. I mean, they just absolutely dominated a Denver Broncos team that was, by all accounts, a pretty solid team this year. So can't wait to watch them play the Ravens. That's definitely the game that everyone is looking forward to in the divisional round. The next award I'm giving out is that was definitely not a bye week award. That's going to the Los Angeles Chargers. Rex Ryan famously said on ESPN that they had a bye week playing against the Houston Texans. And you should ask Justin Herbert if that was a bye week, because it was brutal for him. 4 picks, just not good. And it's officially pile on Justin Herbert time, because this is what we do. Good quarterbacks lose games in the playoffs, and we just berate them with insults. Let's just keep in mind, the Chargers were not supposed to win 11 games. The Chargers' best wide receiver this year was rookie Ladd McConkey. Okay? Look, you got to have some sort of weapons, and the Chargers didn't have any. And the reason why teams lose in the playoffs is oftentimes because of why they lost games in the regular season. And the Chargers lost games in the regular season this year because of their lack of weapons. Okay, like, he clearly needs a little bit of help on the outside. The Chargers are a little bit ahead of schedule. Khalil Mack's a year older, which is not great. He's also set to be a free agent, but the defense is still loaded with talent. They're going to be fine. They've got to find a way to get Justin Herbert some weapons. So if you want to be upset and pile on Justin Herbert, that's fine. Just don't do it too much, because, like, let's be reasonable here. Their receivers were awful. Okay, he's throwing the ball to Quentin Johnston. Like, that's an issue. Next award I'm giving out is the Roman Catholic Purgatory Award. That's going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Opinions are flying out about this. I don't know what they should do. Okay, some people are saying move on from Tomlin. Look, if they fired Mike Tomlin would be the first head coach in the history of the NFL to get fired for doing too good of a job. Okay, their issue is not Mike Tomlin. Their issue is they're always too good that they can't draft a quarterback, right? Like, they tried one year with Kenny Pickett. That didn't go very well at all. So, they're too good, and they always wind up being a little bit too high in the draft. If they wanted to this year, they could take a Quinn Ewers. They could take a Jackson Dart, right? They're not going to get Shadur. They're not going to get Cam Ward. They aren't going to get anybody like that. But they could potentially take, the third or fourth quarterback on the board in the second or third round and just hope that they pan out. Will they? Probably not. They're going to be, I would assume, they're going to be major players for Sam Darnold or J.J. McCarthy, whoever the Vikings decide to move. There's a little bit of hope there, but I don't know what they should do. I really don't. What I do know, though, is that purgatory is not fun. It's not. Just getting to the same spot every single year and being incapable of moving past it is incredibly frustrating. The next award I'm giving out is the Hospital Award. That goes to the Eagles. The Eagles, they started all of their starters in round one of the NFL playoffs, which does not happen. Every single player that started week one for the Eagles started in their wild card game against the Green Bay Packers. That's insane, right? And they should be the favorites to come out of the NFC for that reason alone, okay? Being the healthiest team is a huge advantage in the NFL because everybody is banged up. Just ask the Green Bay Packers, who won the Old Man Pickup Basketball Game Award, for how many guys got hurt in that game against the Eagles. Okay, here's the list. All right, Elgton Jenkins got hurt. Devontae Wyatt got hurt. Romeo Doubs got hurt. Jaden Reed got hurt. Josh Jacobs got hurt. Quay Walker got hurt. And Josh Myers. All those guys got hurt. A lot of them got hurt and did not return. Okay? So, it's not great. Like, when you're that banged up and you're that hurt, this is also after, Watson, he got hurt, week 18. He didn't play either. So, Jordan Love got hurt week 18 as well. So, they just got really banged up. Youngest roster in the NFL. They're going to be fine going forward. They just got to get healthy in the offseason. They'll run it back next year, and they'll continue to be one of the best franchises in the NFL. The next award we're giving out is the Blindside Award. It's going to the Buccaneers. They kicked a field goal to tie that game against the Commanders with 4 minutes and 41 seconds left on the clock. They wouldn't have kicked that field goal if they knew that they weren't going to see the ball again. For some reason, they didn't see the Commanders controlling the ball the rest of the way. That's why it's the Blindside Award, right? Because you can't see it. One could argue, and I would, that they should have seen it coming, given the fact that the Commanders went on long, sustained drives the entire game. Like, they had a 9-minute touchdown drive. They had another drive where they held the ball for 5.5 minutes and kicked a field goal. They had another drive where they held the ball for almost 6 minutes, and I believe that they turned it over on downs on that drive. Like, how the Buccaneers didn't see it coming, I have no clue, but they didn't, and that's ultimately why they lost. And then the final award I'm giving out is the Great Dane Award. It's going to the Vikings. All bark, no bite. That 14-3 record, like a Great Dane, it's big, it's scary. You see it, and you're just like, oh, that is scary. But then in the two games that the Vikings played this year that really mattered, they went 0-2. They lose week 18. They lose a chance to be the number one seed, to have a bye week, not even have to play this week. And then they follow it up by going on the road, not really even, to the Rams. Like, it's basically a neutral site game. That's the way that Scott Van Pelt described it during their halftime show. And they lose what was basically a neutral site game to the Los Angeles Rams. This shouldn't take away from how good the Vikings were this year. The Rams are just really good. They are. So don't know what they're going to do in the offseason between dealing with the whole J.J. McCarthy or Sam Darnold thing. I know what I would do. I would keep Sam Darnold, and I would move off McCarthy. History tells us McCarthy's not going to be very good, since when have we had, 5 first-round quarterbacks all be really good? It doesn't happen. And secondly, that Sam Darnold is good. I know he struggled tonight. I know he struggled a little bit against the Lions, but you went 14-3 with the guy. Like, he can clearly win games for you. I would keep him. He's more of a known commodity than J.J. McCarthy, but at the same time, who wants to be the team that potentially trades away a superstar quarterback? I do not envy the Vikings at all right now. So those are my awards for the NFL wildcard round. I'll give out more awards after the divisional round. I'll also have a video out later in this week just predicting all of those games. Going to do a big video as well on the upcoming college football playoff national title game. That's, on, the 20th, Monday. I think I'm doing that with a buddy of mine as well. It should be really good. So Hopefully you subscribe, like this video, check out all the stuff I got going on. I'm going to do an NBA video at some point this week as well. Just got to figure out which games I want to talk about, or if there's a bigger theme I want to talk about. But I'm promising you an NBA video sometime this week, a college football playoff national championship preview sometime this week, and I'm promising you an NFL divisional round prediction video. So I got at least 3 more videos coming out this week. Make sure you subscribe and you catch everything that I've got going on over here. I'm working really hard at this. The least you could do is like the video and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Thank you for watching my video, and I'll talk to you again soon.